I never imagined a trampoline could spark a war. At 67, I'd seen enough of life to recognize trouble usually came with red flags wa vying, but not this time. This time it sprang into my backyard and apparently right into the HOA's version of all-out panic. When I bought that trampoline, I thought I was doing something simple, something good. My daughter Lisa had just come out of a messy divorce, and my grandkids Sophie and Ben needed a spot to just be kids agawin, a place to laugh without fretting over whose turn it was to have them. So I cleared a corner of my yard, set up the trampoline with extra safety netting, and patted the springs because Ben's energy was wild but his aim? A little less so. Seeing their faces light up as they soared, free from the weight they'd been carrying, made me feel like I was doing something right. Trouble arrived with a crisp knock and an even crisper voice. Henry Larson, are you aware you're violating Section 8, Article 14b of the Pine Hollow HOA Guidelines? I turned to find Evelyn Hart, 70-something, hair puffed like a colonial judge's wig, lips pinched so tight she might have been sucking in a silent whistle. Her clipboard was practically a weapon. Violation of what? I asked, half grinning. Gravy tie? She didn't flinch. Trampolines disrupt the neighborhood's VY Soul harmony, she declared. I glanced at the navy blue trampoline, hidden behind a tall hedge, bringing 10 times more harmony to my home than her rules ever could. You're kidding, I said. She handed me a notice. I unfolded it like it might by Tia do Law 1000 fine, effective immediately. If you've never been fined for fun, trust me, it burns. Worse still was knowing I'd have to tell the kids it had to go. Lisa was leave OID when she heard not at me, but at the HO. Fight this, Dad. It's ridiculous. I wasn't thinking lawsuits, though. I was picturing Sophie and Ben's faces crumpling. That Saturday, Sophie froze mid-bounce when I broke the news, her expression sinking like a stone. But Grandpa, it's ours, she said. Ben tried to play it cool, but his quivering lip gave him away. Something snapped in me, then something older than HOA nonsense, tougher than Evelyn's clipboard. I'd lived in Pine Hollow for nearly 15 years, paid my dues, kept my lawn tidy, never stirred the pot. Yet here I was, the VY lane for letting kids bounce in peace. I stared at that fine, then grabbed my glasses, brewed some tea, and read the HOA bylaws cover to cover twice. By sunrise, I had a plan. First, I tried reason. At the next HOA meeting, Evelyn presided over the folding table like a queen on trial duty. Mr. Larson, do you have a statement? She asked, barely glancing up. I stood. 3 points. 1. The trampoline's behind a hedge, not facing the street. 2. It's temporary, not a permanent fixture. 3. It's a safe, happy outlet for my grandkids during a tough time. Are we really finding people for that? A few nods rippled through the room, but Evelyn stayed stone-faced. The rules are clear, Mr. Larson. Trampolines are an eyesore and a liability. The fine stands. Her tone was icy, like kids' joy didn't compute in her rigid world. I left feeling small, some neighbors dodging my gaze, one muttering, "Should have known better, Henry." That stung. That night, I sat on the trampoline's edge, staring into the yard. Sophie's sock dangled from the net. Ben's juice box lay spilled by the ladder. It wasn't just a toy, it was their refuge. Then it hit me, a wild, possibly reckless idea that made me grin. If they'd fine me for a trampoline, I'd make it pay for itself and then some. By 6 a.m., I was online researching permits, insurance, and business licenses. I filed as Henry's Bounce Haven, printed flyers, set up a Google form for bookings, and had my niece design a logo. I added waivers, a PayPal QR code, and a snack menu scrawled in marker. My backyard wasn't just a trampoline Anna Marie, it was a tiny empire. The HOA had no clue what was coming. The first Saturday, I charged $5 per kid for 30 minutes. Parents lined up, some asking about birthday deals. I threw in a speaker with Sophie's playlist, dubbed her assistant bounce captain, and had Ben hand out snacks. By noon, I'd made $200 enough to cover the fine if I chose to pay it. Evelyn watched from her window across the street, jaw tight enough to crack teeth. I waved. This wasn't just about the trampoline Anna Marie, it was about pushing back against petty control that stomped on joy. By the second weekend, word spread like wildfire. Kids told friends, parents texted me, slots, it was chaos, the good kind. I'd stumbled into the neighborhood's hottest spot, all by letting kids bounce. It started small, $5 per kid, 10 kids an hour, 6 hours on weekends, $300 a day. I couldn't believe it. I bought a sunshade for parents, upgraded the speaker, and let Ben add a Do 20 fog machine for flair. I built a snack shack from scrap with juice boxes, popcorn, fruit snacks, Do 1 each. Parents loved it. One said it felt like old-school carnivals. I tracked every dime, learning from the HOA to keep my bases covered. Evelyn wasn't subtle. By week 3, I caught her with binoculars. I offered her a juice box. She stormed off. The next day, a letter slid under my door demanded I stop my unauthorized commercial operation. I laughed at it was legit. I'd filed everything. License, noise compliance, permits, waivers. She could fume, but I was untouchable. I didn't stop at defiance. I added LED lights for evening bounces, kept slots tight with a clipboard, and ended sessions with freeze pops in photos. Parents loved the Facebook page I started. They tagged each other, calling me Coach Henry. Not everyone was thrilled, though. Some older folks grumbled. Jim, a guy in too tight golf shirts, complained his wife couldn't nap. I offered him free bounce time he didn't bite. Then came sabotage, a slit in the netting, deliberate. I installed a cheap camera and caught Jim sneaking around at midnight. I posted the clip online with dramatic music man tries to deflate kids' joy. It went neighborhood viral. Jim went quiet. The kids kept coming, rain or shine, with themed days like Pajama Bounce Saturday and Pirate Bounce Sunday. It was loud, messy, glorious chaos, the kind that made Pine Hollow feel alive. Parents lingered, swapped stories, shared cookies. One couple said they'd met more neighbors in weeks than in a decade. Another said their shy son was finally opening up. I just handed out juice boxes and nodded. Evelyn kept at it, though. She scribbled notes from behind hedges, once with a decibel meter measuring laughter, I guess. A new HOA notice came, a EW of backyard disturbances. I showed up with permits, photos, and parent testimonials. One mom stood and said, "Shut this down and you're killing the best thing here." People clapped. Evelyn didn't. Summer hit, and Bounce Haven became a mini-revolution. A silent bounce clip went viral in a parenting group. I got franchise inquiries and a news spot. They filmed Sophie midair and Ben with juice boxes. I bumbled on camera but got the point across. Evelyn raged online, calling it exploitation. Her final move was an emergency vote to ban recreational structures over 4 feet. I rallied hard flyers, door knocks, a video of bounce moments. At the meeting, she ranted about chaos. I spoke of community. The vote crushed her amendment. 87 fan tram against. She resigned soon after, then tried one last jab, a fake IRS letter. I cleared it with the real IRS agent, said I might even get a grant. A venture firm, Greenleaf Partners, saw the news and pitched expanding Bounce Haven into senior-run micro-playgrounds nationwide. I said yes, not for profit, but to spread the joy. That summer, we wound down with a quiet party, cupcakes, a goofy trophy, and memories. Sophie asked if the trampoline would stay forever. Not the trampoline, I said, but the memories will. As I watched it glow under the lights, I knew it had been more than a fight. It was a spark, one that turned a fine into a community, a backyard into a legacy, and a stubborn grandpa into someone who mattered again.